welcome back to another battle, Finnigan 40k, Last Stand series. Same Tyranid force around the table, and this time our allied force are the Salamanders. So I am going to see the Infernus Marines came in there for the 10th edition, and they look like they're going to be very good at taking out skittering enemies like Ripper Swarms and Termagants. So we're going to put them to the test today and see how they do with their kill tally. So the force is made up of two 5-man Infernus squads. And then we have our captain in Gravis Armour. So we had the original you saw in our previous battle with the Ultramarines. This is the new Gravis captain. And then we have Aggressor Marines that have Flamestorm gauntlets. So this is going to be tons of D6 rolls that are hitting automatically because of the torrent capability within 12 inches. So I'm hoping it's going to roast this entire group here. I'm going to probably put in, not to give anything away too much, but maybe another green army for the next battle that is not Space Marines. So I'll just leave it there. You guys can probably guess and know who that's going to be. Change it up a bit. It's not going to be Space Marines next time. I'm really excited to get this one going. I want to see what all of these Infernus Marines can do and the Flamestorm gauntlets of the Aggressors. And then my captain has a Bolt Storm gauntlet. And we saw last time that this is a great model for having damage. Going to try to remember that ability throughout, and we're going to see how this battle goes. So I'm going to be shooting this again over a few days, edit it up on the weekend and get it out for the channel. But yeah, stay tuned, and I really hope you enjoy. Alright, we're going to get this battle started off with the first section of 5 Infernus Marines. I want to see how good these weapons actually are. It looks like they're going to be able to do a ton of damage, but let's see. So they're taking on the 3 Ripper Swarms that are in front of them. So this is from the dice camera side, the 5 left Salamander Infernus Marines. So we're going to start rolling here. It's a torrent weapon, so it automatically hits, and each one gets a d6 roll similar to our Barb Gaunts that we've seen before. So let's do the first one. So we have 3. We have 3. We have 2. Come on, high rolls. There we go. 5 and 3. So we'll add these up. So we have 3, 10, 16. So this is going to be 16 dice rolling here. Automatically hits. It is strength 5 versus toughness 2. So it's going to be wounding on 2s. I really hope these rolls start getting better. That's not too bad. It's only 3 that did not hit. It's a -1 to AP. The Ripper Swarms have a 6+ save, no invulnerable. So that means that all of these wounds have gone through. So this is a very good start to the battle. I'm probably going to roll the other Infernus squad as well as the Aggressors off camera, but I'm just going to count these up so you guys can see. So it's 1 damage per, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there is 3 Ripper Swarms that have 12 wounds in total, so they have all been killed. So we have started the battle off very well. I'm not sure how the Tyranid are going to do jumping in here in hand-to-hand combat and how the Salamanders will be able to defend, but so far the Salamanders in their very first roll have taken out an entire unit of Ripper Swarms. So I'm going to move over to the other ones, roll them off the camera. Just wanted to see how that went. I'm hoping that this next roll is going to be better, and I will come back and show you guys the outcome of that in just a sec. Okay, so absolutely incredible first round for the Salamanders, the Infernus Marines with the Pyre Blasters, and the Flamestorm Gauntlets from the Aggressors. Absolutely phenomenal damage. So this is what's left of the Tyranid that were over here. This is the first time, I believe, as well, that Barb Gaunts have actually been killed at all. They're just in range there of the Flamestorm Gauntlets, so tons of damage came down again. They're twin-linked, so I was able to reroll wounds as well, and there are 2 Barb Gaunts remaining. The 2 squads of Von Ryan's Leapers had the Ripper Swarms in front of them, so they could not be targeted, but they will be next turn. The only thing I'm worried about now is these guys getting into hand-to-hand combat, so I know the Gravis Captain's probably their strongest. Also, the Aggressor Marines with their Power Fists should be pretty good, but the Infernus Marines, if they get swamped, it might be tricky. So I might start moving these guys back and try to keep that range, and then just let a whole torrent of fire come out for the next turn as well against the Von Ryan's Leapers, because as we've seen, they're just outside of range to jump over that wall. So I think the Salamander should get another whole gout of fire on them, especially if they move back maybe up into the tower. So we'll see how that goes. And one of their best shooting units has been pretty badly wounded. So I'm going to go over to the Tyranid now. We'll do their move. I'll come right back, and then we will see how these guys are doing. There's also, of course, you know, the Tervagon that can fire, possibly the Screamer Killer, so we'll see after the move if they're going to be able to shoot. And then the Salamanders do have that benefit of cover. So I'm going to move the Tyranid. I'll come right back and show you guys what's happened. Alright, so the Tyranid have moved. As always, the Von Ryan's Leapers are right there, just at a range to be able to jump over that wall, which means the Salamanders will be able to get another move in here and shoot before they are in hand-to-hand combat, so I'm going to have to play that really wisely with the distance of the Pyroblasters. I'm going to, of course, always put this in the text at the intro, but this is a 380-point Salamander army. Our max here for most of these games is 500. We haven't really come close to that yet, but the 380 gets you a lot of Infernus Marines and a Gravis Captain with the Aggressors, so pretty good. The rest of the Tyranid moved up, so the Termagants, I think, are going to really have to get in range this time and start shooting to dwindle some of those numbers. The Tervagon has moved up as well. Absolutely devastating in hand-to-hand combat, so if it gets into the facility, might be over real quick if that thing gets into hand-to-hand with anyone. Here's the other side of those Von Ryan's Leapers. They're also kind of acting as a bit of a wall for the Barbagaunts, because the Barbagaunts got pretty badly wounded there last time. So the Von Ryan's Leapers have a higher toughness, and with that, I don't know as many wounds are going to go through, but we'll see. We also have the Twin Link, though, with the Aggressors, and they're facing them down, so I might be able to reroll those wounds, see how that goes. The Gargoyles have moved in on the right side there with the Termagants, the Screamer Killer, Parasite of Mortrex, and the rest of the Termagants that are going to be coming to that facility soon. That entire wall is completely open. There's no one there, so I'm going to maybe have to move some Marines over to give some support. And the Screamer Killer, as well as most of those models, have a ranged attack, except for the Parasite of Mortrex. And then the Tervagon also has its Stinger salvos, so that's going to be coming in as well. So I'm going to go over to the Tyranid. I'm going to do their shoot, roll it off camera, come back and show you what kind of casualties the Salamanders have received. I'm hoping it's not going to be many. Also, before I forget, some future videos are going to come up. I've been mentioning my Crusade. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I do a Acadian Crusade narrative. It's kind of been put on hiatus until the new Death Corps of Krieg Army box comes out with the Codex, and that's just so I have the most up-to-date points, statistics, all that kind of stuff, and I might do an unboxing as well. So I have one pre-ordered. We had a Canada Post strike over here. It looks like it's okay, and the company who I go through, Kingdom of Titan, in Quebec, I believe are still shipping through some of the couriers right now, so I'm hoping that'll get here on time for, you know, the week following. I think the release is the 21st, so I'm going to do an unboxing there, see how that goes. I don't know if I'll put the Death Corps of Krieg in here, maybe, but I'm going to probably go back to my Crusade for a couple of battles, and then come back to this Last Stand series as well in time. There's still tons of armies to go, but I just wanted to mention that before I forgot. And just to show you guys really quick, we have, well, the casualties thus far, which will total up at the end. Got myself some Kill Team Death Corps of Krieg models too, because that new box set, I wish it had come with some infantry, to tell you the truth. It's just all like Death Riders, and then they have the artillery piece, which looks beautiful, and then their commander, but we'll see. I was hoping there'd be a little bit of infantry in there, but if I can find another Kill Team box, I think it might be a well-rounded force. Maybe I can stick them into Last Stand as well. So we'll see what's going on, but for now, we're going to get back to the Tyranid, roll for them for their shoot, and no hand-to-hand combat this turn, but there could still be some Salamanders that are going to be casualties here. So I'll come right back, show you guys the outcome of the Tyranid shoot phase, and how many of these boys in green are still around after that. Alrighty. Alright, Tyranid shoot phase is done. All of these units were in range, so they all fired upon the Salamanders. That's one thing about having the Salamanders so close to the wall here. So those 41 models fired into this squad of Salamanders right here. There was one Salamander wounded by the stinging salvos of the Tervagon, and then the remaining Termagants were able to kill the other. The 2+ cover saved these guys, because I would have lost probably 3 models if it wasn't there, and I rolled a lot of 2s. So rolled okay for the Tyranid. Those flesh borers, though, with a strength 5 against toughness 4 Marines, very good little weapon. It doesn't have any AP. If it had a -1 to AP, also would be pretty good for range. I think it used to have a -1 to AP, but in 10th edition, that's kind of been clawed back a bit for the Termagants. But they were able to kill one Salamander, and that was, you know, 41 shots, so not too bad. On this side here, the Screamer Killer right here, as well as the Termagants fired into the Salamanders here and brought the guy over here on the left down to 1 wound. I actually have to check these gargoyles. I didn't roll for them. I think they're probably in range too, so I'm going to be doing that again. I'll probably get that on camera, actually show you guys that roll for the gargoyles, and hopefully these Marines won't lose anybody, but we'll see. I'll go to the dice camera and do that right now. Alright, so behind the camera here for the gargoyles that I forgot. They look like they were just at range. That's maybe why I didn't use them, but they're actually, the entire unit is almost in range there. So this is the same flesh borer that Termagants have, just carried by the gargoyles. So it is going to be hitting on a 4+. That's good for the Space Marines, not so much for the Tyranid. And of course, as you guys have seen, I'm 100% honest and transparent here for our Tyranid as well, to make sure that it's as legitimate as possible to see how all of these different allied units fight against them. So this is strength 5, which I was talking about on the other camera. Great little weapon against toughness 4, so it's 3s to wound. And 1 fell off there, so we have 3 that are through. It does not have an AP, so the 3+ save of the Space Marines is actually 2+ due to the cover. So let's get some 2s. I got a 1. So that 1 Space Marine has been killed. I'll go back to my other camera, just loop that all in, but we have a 2 and a 6. But the 1 Marine that was down to 1 wound from the previous Screamer Killer and Termagant attack has been slain. So that is 2 lost Salamanders from the first shoot phase of the Tyranid. Alright, so as you just saw that roll, the gargoyles fired into the same section of Salamanders there, and the Infernus Marine that was on the left has been slain. He is done. I'm going to have to really get some strategy going here, maybe move these guys back, try to keep that range, but keep them within range of the Flamers. I really want to see how those Pyre Blasters are going to do against Von Ryan's Leapers because of the higher toughness of them and also the 3 wounds. So we'll see how that goes right now. And also, before I forget, there was a Spore Mine dropped right in by the Biovore, and it can't move this turn since it was just fired out, but next Tyranid move turn, that's going to be causing some havoc in the backfield for the captain, and that thing can deliver, 3 D3 wounds. It'll be halved, but that's still something that the captain's going to have to deal with, so he might have to shoot that next turn. The other thing with them being right on the wall here is that the Spore Mines can get dropped in anywhere 9 inches from any of the enemy model, so the Tyranid's enemy is the Salamanders, so that's 9 inches directly behind the captain, and if they don't kind of cover that range, then the Biovores are going to continue to just drop them in right behind, and then they'll float forward and could cause some havoc, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on them too. And so we're going to move the Salamanders right now, and then we will come back and I'll show you where they have moved. Okay, so that concludes the movement for the Salamanders during this phase. The section here is moved back 6 inches just to get some distance there from the Von Ryan's Leapers. I'm guessing the Von Ryan's Leapers are still probably in range, but the Infernus, Pyro, the Pyre Blasters are still in range there to gout some flame onto them, so that's great. The captain moved back as well. That's getting very close to the 3 inches, and that'll be moving this turn, so we're going to have to be super careful. I might have to actually get my captain to shoot the Spore Mine. And then the Aggressors, they move back as well. Not the full 6 inches or 5 inches. They move back about 3 just to get some more space. And the remaining section of Salamanders here that are down to 4 moved up onto the Nachman structure. Again, I think the Von Ryan's Leapers are in range, as well as possibly the Parasite of Mortrex and some other models that can fly in there, but we will see. There is still a shoot for the Salamanders. I'm shooting this again over a couple days. I'm still getting over that cold. I've had it for quite a while, so you guys might still hear me kind of sniffling and stuff. Apologies for that. But I've been getting updates on the LVO for the new drops that are coming in, and it was a big surprise. I actually didn't know because I started shooting this yesterday, 2 days ago, I don't quite remember, but it looks like there's going to be some new Salamander models, and I'm really hoping, maybe fingers crossed, that Vulcan is going to be in there, because we know he is a perpetual and is still alive, so that would be pretty cool. Hoping to get a few views because this is a Salamander's battle. We'll see. I also saw the new Slaneshi Marines that are coming in, the Cacophony, and some of the new models are just absolutely fantastic. They look like Cenobites from, Hellraiser, so that's going to be super sick if I can get my hands on one of those box sets before they break them into individual packs. But yeah, I also saw Black Templar, and just really far-fetched, but maybe Rogaldorn will come back since we have so many Trader Primarchs right now, and only 2, of the Loyalist Primarchs that are back in 40k. So it would be incredible if like Dorn came back in Templar armor. I'm really pushing it there, but Black Templar are of course successor chapter to the Imperial Fists, and little touches of yellow on the armor, but it would be absolutely incredible if we saw Dorn and Vulcan come back to help out Gilliman and the Lions. So anyways, I'm going to do the shoot now. Probably will roll that off camera, and hoping that these Tyranid will be killed by these amazing Pyre Blaster Infernus Marines, Aggressors, and the Captain. So really hoping that kill tally goes up. Stay tuned. I'll be right back, and we'll see how many Tyranid we have killed. Fingers crossed that it will be a few. Alrighty. Okay, so the poor rolling continues. The amount of D6 rolls for these flame weapons and what I rolled to wound was absolutely... I don't want to say it was a horrible round, but it was pretty bad considering what this could have done. So I'm just going to recap what happened. This squad here was able to put their Pyre Blasters onto the Von Rein's Leapers section here. They killed one and wounded another. So that was 4 wounds, pretty good. The Aggressors went in twin-linked with the Flamestorm Gauntlets. Nothing happened. They are lower strength weapons, so the wounds just didn't happen. And then I tried to re-roll, and it failed again. And then up here, the other section of Infernus Marines fired down into the Von Rein's Leapers, and this was just a ton of missed hits, or not hits because it hits automatically, but missed wounds. And again, just really poor rolls, a lot of 2s, a lot of 1s, but they did wound one of the Von Rein's Leapers. So now it is flipping back over to the Tyranid for their move. That Spore Mine too, I tried to blast the Boltstorm Gauntlet there for my Gravis Captain as well into the Von Rein's Leapers. Didn't work. So that Spore Mine is going to be floating ever closer to the Gravis Captain. I'm really hoping that they're going to be able to survive this hand-to-hand combat phase, because I think there's going to be a lot in the facility during this turn, or very close to getting them. I'm going to have to do the good old, how many inches it is across, up the wall, and then in to get them. So the Von Rein's Leapers might still be down on the ground there, giving the Salamanders one more chance to kill them with their flame weapons next turn. But there's also some units like the Barbgaunts, the Turvagon, the Termagants that are probably more in range now. They can lay some flesh borer shots and other things onto them. So I'm going to move over to the Tyranid. We're going to do their move. I will come back, show you what happens as always. And the way I've been rolling, the Tyranid are probably going to roll very well. I'm hoping these Salamanders can hold on for as long as possible. We'll see. So I'm going to get to that move right now. I'll come right back and show you guys what happened. Okay, end of the Tyranid move phase. Not very good for the Salamanders. The hand-to-hand combat has commenced. The Von Rein's Leapers were in range on both fronts. So the 2 remaining down here went in at the Aggressors. The 3, and we've seen this before, they have 18 attacks in total, have taken on the 4 Salamanders. That does, however, not allow the Gargoyles or the Termagants to shoot at this unit. Screamer Killer as well is not able to, so that did happen. The Parasite of Mortrex has come into the facility as well, very, very close to the Captain. The Spore Mine, I actually forgot to move, so he goes 3 inches. And I'm going to have to do a measurement there to see. I think that's still just outside of reach of the Captain, but if it's within 3 inches, I'm going to have to do the D3 save. And then on this side here, this Salamander section is not in hand-to-hand combat, but the Turvagon has knocked the wall down. It is coming in. It also has a ranged attack. The Termagants here moved up. They're 6 inches, and these Termagants were already in range. So they're going to be taking around 40 plus shots, because the Turvagon will also be launching its Stinger salvos into them. So that might be the end of this unit here. We're going to have to see. They also have cover from this side, so you guys can see the flesh borers here, so that wall is still protecting them from here. But on this side, they are open to the Termagants firing in at them. The Turvagon definitely can fire at them, and then the Barbgaunts can also shoot in at that 4-person, 4 Salamander section. So they are in trouble. There's going to be a lot of shots coming down on them. And I'm just going to measure off for that spore mine. I'll probably do a couple of rolls in the tray for the hand-to-hand combat, but we'll get the shoot done first, show you guys the outcome of that, and see how many salamanders are left at the end of this turn. Okay, so before we get into the shoot phase for the Tyranid here and the hand-to-hand combat, I just did the measurement. The spore mine is within 3 inches of the Captain and Gravis Armour, so it is going to be able to explode as per its floating death ability. The Captain, as we found out previously, does have the refuse to yield, so it halves the damage. We're hoping for a 1 here, so the spore mine just blows up, but let's see, it's going to be a D3. So here we go. It's a 1. Nothing happened. So the spore mine exploded. The Captain's fine. It bounced off of his armor. That's really, really good, because he's kind of, other than the Aggressors, my only really good hand-to-hand combat model, especially with the halving damage ability. So I'm going to roll for the shoots now of the Tyranid. It's going to be tons and tons of rolls. I'm going to come back and show you guys on my other camera who survived from that one section of Salamanders. So I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so Tyranid shoot phase just concluded there off camera. We had the Barbgaunts fire, the 20 Termagants here, the 20 Termagants here, and the Tervagon. It was probably around 60 shots into 4 Infernus Marines. The only one remaining is the Sergeant with 1 wound left. I rolled pretty well again for the Tyranid. It was just the saves. So there was some cover, at least from these shots here, because of the line of sight. They weren't able to shoot through the wall there, but the Barbgaunts, even with the cover save, were able to... they were the ones that wounded the Sergeant. These 20 killed one of the Infernus Marines. These 20 killed another Infernus Marine, and the Tervagon fired in with its Stinger salvos. There was one Marine that already had 1 wound, and he was downed as well by that. So there's 1 left, the Sergeant. No real point going into hand-to-hand, so I might get up closer to that wall again next turn and blast into the Barbgaunts, try to finish them off maybe. We'll see, but I need a good roll for that. So we're going to move to the hand-to-hand combat now. As we saw previously, this section of Salamanders are in with 3 pretty healthy Von Ryan's Leapers. 1 has 2 wounds, the others have 3. And then our Aggressor Marines that do have pretty good hand-to-hand combat, but they do not have the initiative, are taking on 2 Von Ryan's Leapers, and one of those Von Ryan's Leapers is wounded as well. So we're going to see how that goes. And then I did roll. This guy's gone, actually. I rolled on camera, as you guys saw. I got a 1 for the Spore Mine, so I've never actually done any damage with the Spore Mine, I don't think, which is really good. The Parasite of Mortrex there is still very close to the Captain, but the Spore Mine was not able to hurt him. There is another one that was dropped in behind by the Biovore, but right now, not too much of an issue until it moves up there a little bit closer. So I'm going to have to get rolling here really well for my Salamanders and hope that they can make it to this next round to lay some more fire onto these Tyranid. So onto the dice tray, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, here we go. So this is Tyranid hand-to-hand combat phase. The 2 Von Ryan's Leapers that are attacking the Aggressors. The Von Ryan's Leapers have the initiative in both cases here. So we have 2 Von Ryan's Leapers with 6 attacks apiece, so we have 12 in total, hitting on 3+. And only 2 fell off there, so that's not good for the Aggressors. Let's see how this goes. It is Strength 5 versus Toughness 6, however, so they are going to need 5s to wound. Yeah, that's good. A few more fell off there. Alright, so there is a -1 to AP, which brings our Aggressors up to a 4+ save. Let's see what they can do. So 2 wounds have been dealt at 1 damage apiece. So one of our Aggressors is down to 1 wound, but all 3 are still alive. I'm going to fight back with them right now. I'm just going to make sure the token's flipped, so I'm tracking that. So there's 2 that have 3 wounds, and then 1 that has 1 wound, and it's on to them for the hand-to-hand combat counterattack. Alright, here we go. So these are the Aggressors doing a counterattack against those Von Ryan's Leapers. The twin Power Fists are pretty amazing, Strength 8, and they're twin linked, so I can reroll the wound rolls. So here we go, hitting on 3+. Okay, a couple didn't make it through. It would have been nice if I maybe got 1 or 2 more, but that's alright. So it is Strength 8 versus Toughness 5, 3s to wound, and I can reroll. And holy jeez, I need to... Are you guys... Like, this is incredible. So we have a 5, which is a hit. Luckily, I can reroll this, but, like, 4 1s and a 2. I'm cursed. I don't know what's going on here. All right, so here we go. This is going to be threes. Come on. There we go. Much better. So only one fell off. Thank goodness for that, or that would have been completely just a missed attack with one hit going through. So these are all through, and it is a -2 to AP, which brings our Von Ryan's Leapers up to their 6+ invulnerable, so they need 6s here. And none were made. That's amazing. So 2 damage per, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's only 5 wounds left with the Von Ryan's Leapers, so they have been killed by the Aggressors. And now I'm going to flip over to the Infernus Marines that are fighting the other Von Ryan's Leapers up on top of the Nachman structure. But great job, Aggressors. Killed even more units for the kill tally. Be right back in a sec. Okay, so this has the possibility of being much more devastating, as there are 3 Von Ryan's Leapers versus a much lower toughness with just the regular Infernus Marines. So the Von Ryan's Leapers are going to be getting 18 attacks, 6 per model, hitting on a 3+. Yeah, there we go. So it looks like my Tyranid might be able to jinx this turn as well, which is good. So those are all through. It is a tough or a strength 5 versus toughness 4, so this is going to be 3s to wound. That one didn't roll. I didn't pick it up. There we go. So that's a lot of attacks through that have wounded. It is a -1 to AP, so the Infernus Marines are going to get a 4+ save. Wow, that was a lot better. So we did lose... Nope, they're all with full wounds. So there's one Infernus Marine that's been given 1 wound. Everybody else saved with a 4+. So I'm going to just do that marker. I'm going to come back because the Infernus Marines are going to be able to counterattack here. So the Infernus Marines have close combat weapons, so they don't have any power weapons or anything like that. It's going to be 3 attacks per, so we're going to need 12 dice. So let me just see here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, there we go. So here's my 12. And it is hitting on 3+. Okay, a little better than previously. This is the big one here, though, as it is strength 4 versus a toughness 5 for the Von Ryan's Leapers, so we're wounding on 5s. Okay, so it's a few 4s that I wish were 5s, but what can you do? So there has been 4 wounds delivered. Let's see if the Von Ryan's Leapers can save. There's no AP. They have the regular 4+ save. And 6, 6, 5. One of them was wounded, so it goes from 2 wounds down to 1 wound. And I'm going to hop back to my other camera and show you guys the aftermath of that. But the Infernus Marines have survived, as well as the Aggressors. Okay, so not a bad round in hand-to-hand combat. I was really worried I was going to lose more models. The Aggressors would not done as well as they did if they didn't have that twin-linked capability with those power fists, so that was fantastic. The Salamanders here, the Infernus Marines, have been able to get some space, and they're going to be able to definitely use their flamers against these Von Ryan Leapers here and hopefully just melt them right off the roof. I've also opened up some space down here too, so it's very possible that we can get some more fire on the Barb Gaunts, on the Gargoyles, things like that. So I'm going to be moving to the Salamander's move turn here in just a sec. That Captain too, before the Parasite of Mortrex jumps him, I think I'm going to get the initiative because he's really good in hand-to-hand combat too. So we'll get that going. He's got his Power Fist and his Power Sword and that ability to have damage if there is any counterattack by the Parasite. So I'm going to move them now, do a little bit of strategy here just to make sure that I'm employing the best stuff. Check the range, see how close they are to being able to kill some more units. But the kill tally, very impressive. And the Infernus Marines with the Torrent flame weapons, very, very good against Tyranid. So if you guys are facing a Tyranid army as Space Marine, get those Infernus Marines going. Great 5 strength, tons of rolls if you roll better than I do, which is probably everybody. But yeah, I'm going to maybe get this one on the dice tray too, just to show you guys some of those rolls. But I'll do the move first, and I will come right back and show you what my strategy has done and kind of my plan for this next turn for the Salamanders. All right, so it took some time there just to make sure that everything was in range. I'm still kind of undecided in regards to how I'll use this shoot phase, but my Aggressors moved right up to the wall with the lone Infernus Marine from that section, my Sergeant. So I have a couple of options here. I have the gargoyles that I can kill with, hopefully kill with the Firestorm gauntlets. Strength isn't as good on those, but we'll see. The Sergeant has a Pyre Blaster. Barb Gaunts have more attacks with a higher strength. Well, they definitely have more attacks possibly if they roll well. There's still the cover element from both sides here, so I'm going to really think about who I'm going to be flaming this turn. Maybe my aggressors are going to aim towards these gargoyles and try to take those out to get some higher numbers. And then maybe my lone sergeant is going to try to gout these two barb gaunts, so we will see. The Turvagon's going to get in there next turn anyways, and at least he's kind of a bit of just a bulwark there between him or between the aggressors and the Turvagon, so maybe he'll be able to buy them some more time. We're going to have to see. And then up here, definitely going to be shooting at these Von Ryan's Leapers with the Infernus Marines and hopefully melt them right off the roof, as I said. And then down here, I decided to take that initiative, and the captain has gone in first to fight the Parasite of Mortrex. That is Warlord on Warlord, so that should be a pretty good scrap. Really hoping that we can kill that thing again. I'm going to move to the dice tray now and roll for these guys for sure. We'll see what else I want to do in the dice tray, and then I will come back and show the outcome and how many Tyranid have been killed. Okay, switching red dice for this turn. This is the Infernus Marines that are on top of the roof with the Von Ryan's Leapers. Rolling d6s here to see how many hits I get. Really hoping for high rolls here, so let's see how we do. 2, not good. 1, terrible. 4, okay-ish. 6, so okay. So we have 10, 12, 13 shots. So I'm going to grab this. So here we go. It's hitting automatically, and this is Strength 5 versus Toughness 5, so it's going to be 4s to wound. Wow. Again, not too great, but I just have to manage my expectations. So we have 4 that have wounded. There is a -1 to AP, so that's good. It's going to bring the Von Ryan's Leapers up from their 4+ regular to a 5+. So here we go. Hopefully they roll terribly. And they rolled really well. So there we go. So they got a 5, a 6, a 6. 1 has been killed though because it was wounded previous. So one of the Von Ryan's Leapers of the 3 has been killed, and those Pyre Blaster Infernus Marines are going to be probably in hand-to-hand combat next turn. But it was a gamble. It was worth it. At least we killed 1 and got that tally up. Alright, I'm going to roll for that lone sergeant that is aiming at the Barb Gaunts. Let's get a really high roll here. 6 would be amazing. Got a 4. Okay, I'll take it. Take it. Not too bad. So automatically hits because it is a torrent weapon. It ignores cover. So this is going to be Strength 5 versus Toughness 4. So 3s to wound. Okay, that's good. I'll take it. And it is a -1 to AP. So the Barb Gaunt goes from a 4+ save to a 5+. And another Barb Gaunt has been killed by the lone sergeant. 1 saved. So I'm going to remove that model, and I'll be right back to do the Aggressor Marines. Alright, so here are my Aggressor Marines. I was originally going to use them against the Gargoyles, but I'm a little more worried about the Barb Gaunts because it has a higher... Well, the Flesh Borer is the same, but it just has a possibility of more shots. So I'm going to be using the Aggressor Marines with their Firestorm Gauntlets against the Barb Gaunt. We'll see how it goes. So this is D6 + 1 for each of my Marines. That is incredible. Not good, and terrible. So we have at least 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dice. And I can roll the wound roll again because they are twin linked. So it is Strength 4 versus Toughness 4. So this is wounding on 4s. Thank God for that reroll again. Are you seeing this again? Like, geez Louise. Alright. Geez Louise, holy Dinah. Okay, so here we go. These are all going to roll, and we're going to get 4s on each one, right? Let's do it. So a few more. Still a lot fell off, but I think enough for through here. Let's see how it goes. There is 0 AP with this, however, and the Barb Gaunt usually has a 4+, so it's going to have to make a lot of 4+ saves here. Let's see. So it did save quite a bit, actually. So it saved 3, saved 50%. And those 3 went through. It has 2 wounds, so that is 1, 2, 3 damage to 2 wounds. So the Barb Gaunt has been killed. And my Aggressors, I think, might be the first... My Salamanders might be the first force that's actually killed the Barb Gaunts. So I'll get back to my other camera, show you guys what that looks like, and we'll be back here in just a sec for the Tyranid move. All right, so I would say a very, very successful shoot phase for the Salamanders here. I am not 100% sure, but I think they're the first Space Marine army or allied army in general that was able to kill the Barb Gaunts. It was a good strategy, and as per, the Salamander lore, they love their flame weapons, and they're doing very, very well against the Tyranid. So again, if you guys are playing against Tyranid, bring tons of flame weapons. They don't have the greatest range, so if you're in like a short distance battle like this, pretty good. But if they're coming out from further, a lot of artillery pieces, it might not be as good. I'm going to now move over to the dice tray again. I apologize, I forgot the hand-to-hand combat between our two Warlords, and the Salamander Captain in Gravis Armour has the initiative there, so that's going to be a really cool roll-off. If he can kill that thing in this turn, he's going to be rolling, and the Carnifex Screamer Killer is super close to jumping into hand-to-hand combat here too. It can probably get up on that roof this next turn and take on these 4 Salamanders with the Von Rein's Leapers, so that would be not good. I'm going to go to the dice tray again, and we will do some hand-to-hand combat. All right, so back in behind the dice rolling camera here for the face-off between our Salamander Captain in Gravis Armour versus the Parasite of Mortrex. This is the Battle of the Warlords for this one. So I'm going to start off with the Mastercrafted Power Weapon that the Captain has. This is hitting on 2+. 1 fell off. Okay, it is Strength 5 versus Toughness 5, so this is wounding on 4s. Let's get a high roll here. Nice, there we go, that's great. So we got 4 attacks through. It is a -2 to AP. The Parasite of Mortrex does not have an invulnerable save, so it's got to make 6 pluses here. And it didn't make any. I think that is the end of the Warlord for our Tyranid, because the Mastercrafted Power Weapon does 2 damage apiece. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8 against 5 wounds. The Captain in Gravis Armour has slain the Parasite of Mortrex, and that is absolutely fantastic. Another model for the kill tally. All right, so there is our Captain. You just saw on the dice tray that he was an absolute stud and finished off the Parasite of Mortrex with his power weapon. Didn't even need the power fist. However, the Screamer Killer is right around the corner, and he will most likely be in combat with that very shortly. He does have that ability to have damage, and the last Gravis Captain actually did quite well against the Screamer Killer, so we're going to see what happens. It is moving to the Tyranid now, though, so they're going to get their move turn, and we're going to see who's in hand-to-hand combat, who can be shot upon, all that stuff. So I'm going to move them. I'll be right back and show you what has occurred. Go Salamanders. Hopefully you guys can keep up in that kill tally, because it is very, very impressive. Okay, so that concludes the Tyranid move phase. The 10 Termagants here have the Captain in their sights, and he is in range, so he's going to be fired upon by them. These Termagants over here have the Aggressors in their range. The Gargoyles also have the Aggressors in their range, and the 20 Termagants over here have the Aggressors in their range. So the Aggressors have a very good toughness. However, Flesh Borers are a 5 strength, so we are going to see what happens there. They do have multiple wounds, and one is hurt. So you guys can just see behind there the tokens. So we have one with 3 wounds, the Sergeant with 3 wounds, and then the guy on the right here with 1 wound. So it's very possible that one of them could die, or possibly all. I'm just hoping that the Tyranid don't roll well. Our lone Sergeant here that was left from the Infernus squad is now in hand-to-hand combat with the Tervagon. This thing with its crushing claws is devastating in hand-to-hand, so I don't think he's going to survive unless he has some miraculous rolls. And then up here, our other Infernus Marines are in quite a bit of trouble. So the Screamer Killer was in range to jump up on the roof and get into hand-to-hand combat, and then the Von Rein's Leapers are also in hand-to-hand. So I'm going to go to the Tyranid shoot. I'm going to roll that off camera because it's going to be like, oof, what are we looking at? 60, 70 dice rolls, something like that for them. I'm going to show you what happens after the shoot, and then we're going to move into the hand-to-hand combat. I also measured here. The Spore Mine is just out of range, that 3-inch range from the Captain, but if he does not take care of that next turn, it could go in, so he's going to have to make a decision if he wants to fire against the Termagants or against the Spore Mine, or he might even be in hand-to-hand combat with the Screamer Killer soon enough. So on to the Tyranid shoot. I'll be right back and show you guys how all of that shook out. All right, so a pretty good turn by the Tyranid. Just way too many shots coming in there. So there was 20, 30, 40 that were put right onto the aggressors. It did kill one. The other two are all right with their full 3 wounds, but one was lost. So I don't know. I guess better than nothing. The captain actually faced the 10 termagants here and had a wound knocked off. So it was 2 damage, half that, it was 1, so he's gone from 6 wounds down to 5. I was not expecting the flesh borers to do that, but the termagants got a lucky roll, and I did not roll as well for the captain and Gravis Armour. We still have to deal with these Von Ryan's Leapers and the Screamer Killer here in hand-to-hand, as well as our Lone Sergeant versus the Turvagon. So Aggressors, good job. The one guy was wounded there, had the 1 wound left, so 40 shots were just too much. The Spore Mine as well. Another one was dropped in behind there, so the captain's going to have to get moving here, because that could be a problem. So we're going to see, might move him up to the Waller next turn, but first is the Tyranid hand-to-hand combat, and they have the initiative. So we're going to see if the Salamanders can miraculously survive some of the best hand-to-hand combat models in the game. So I'll be right back, and we'll show you guys that. Might roll a few in the dice tray, and then come back and show you the aftermath. Alright, so this is the Tyranid hand-to-hand combat phase. It's that Turvagon versus the Infernus Sergeant. This thing has tons of wounds. We're going to start off with the massive crushing claws. So this is 4 attacks hitting on 4+. Really good that 2 fell off there. That's good, because these things have a strength 12 versus toughness 4. So this is going to be wounding on 2s. Both have wounded. Oh geez, it's a -3 to AP. And they usually have a 3+ save, so this Infernus Sergeant's going to have to make 2 6+. Roll for dramatic effect. It was 2 3s. It is D6 +1, so he's dead already even if I roll 2 1s. But let's just see what kind of damage is done here. 2 and 7. So that was enough to kill multiple Infernus Marines, but our Sergeant has died. He's been slain by the Turvagon. I'm going to move over to the other Infernus Marines fighting the Von Ryan's Leapers and Screamer Killer in just a sec. Alright, so we just saw that Infernus Sergeant get killed by the Turvagon. He actually only had 1 wound left, so he was killed with the first attack, even if the other one hadn't saved. So this is going to be the Screamer Killer versus the 4 Infernus Marines on top of the Nachman structure. It is the Screamer Killer Talons, 10 attacks hitting on 3+. Okay, a few fell off. That is promising. Let's see how this goes. It is strength 10, however, versus toughness 4, so 2s to wound. Oof. Yeah. Alright, so -2 to AP per attack. It brings our Infernus Marines up to a 5+. They have no invulnerable, so we need a lot of 5s here. So we got A6, which saved 1, and they are dead. So it's 3 damage per, so that is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 wounds through, and there are 4. 1 is down to 1 wound, so it's 2, 4, 6, 7 wounds. So that was enough to kill them for sure. So those Infernus Marines have been slain, and the Von Ryan's Leapers do not need to do their hand-to-hand combat attack. So I'll go back to my other camera, show you guys the outcome of that, show you how many models are left for the Salamanders, and it's back over to them in just a sec. Let's see what they do. Alright, so that is the end of the Infernus Marines on the table. The last stand is coming. You can feel it. There are 2 Aggressor Marines left. The Captain and Gravis Armour trying to hold on to this facility for as long as they possibly can. They're getting surrounded. They're not going to go down though without a fight. These Aggressors are going to be using their Flame Storm Gauntlets and putting it right into these gargoyles to try to take out as many numbers as they can before they get jumped by the Turvagon, Von Ryan's Leapers, Screamer Killer, and then the Captain is probably going to try to move up to that gate, maybe take out a couple of the Termagants over here to up that total kill tally, and then he's probably going to get jumped by the Screamer Killer. But let's see what happens. It is over to the Salamanders for their move, and I will be right back to show you what has happened. Alright, so very quick move, only 3 models to move. The Aggressor Marines moved up along the wall a little bit to just get those gargoyles right in their sights, and away from the Turvagon a little bit. They are most likely still in range, but maybe they've got enough space there. And then over here, our captain in Gravis Armour has gone right up to the wall to put that Boltstorm Gauntlet onto those Termagants in hopes to finish off a few more models. So we're going to do the shoot phase now for these last few Salamander Marines and do that in the dice tray, then I'll be right back and show you what's happened. Alright, so it could be quite possibly the last move for the Salamanders. This is our Aggressors. The two that are remaining, they are going to be firing at the Gargoyles. So it is the Flamestorm Gauntlets. We're getting our amount of hits first. Great. Pretty good. So 11, 12, 13. Automatically hits. We're going to see if it wounds though. So it is Strength 4 versus Toughness 3. So this is going to be wounding on 3s. Very good roll. Nice. Okay. I like seeing those high numbers finally. There we missed a few, but better than nothing. So 0 to AP, so this is going to be the regular 6+ save. The Gargoyles do not have a great save. Let's see how many die here. 1 saved, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 were slain by the Aggressors. So if that is their last turn, fantastic to get that kill tally up, and that's all those Salamanders are doing right now, is making sure that they take out as many as they can before they go down. Okay, so as we saw in the dice tray there, fantastic move, possibly their last by the Aggressors. They were able to kill 7 of the Gargoyles, leaving 3 remaining and upping the kill tally. The captain in Gravis Armour tried to take a pot shot at the Termagants here. He was able to get 1 off, 1 wound, but the Termagant was able to save with its 6+ because it's a -1 to AP. So the captain was not able to kill anything during that turn. It is going back over now to the Tyranid, and there are a lot of models within range of hand-to-hand combat. So I'm going to be moving those Tyranid right now, and I will come back and show you who's in hand-to-hand combat with what. And the Hive Mind is going to be definitely planning here to make sure that the best models are in hand-to-hand combat with their highest chance of success. So I'll be right back, and I will show you who is into it, who's going to be getting into the Donnybrooks and scrapping it out. Okay, so this might be it. The Aggressors are now in hand-to-hand combat with the Tervagon, those incredible crushing claws, and it's also got talons that can slice them apart too, so they've got a very tough battle ahead of them. They do have a higher toughness and a pretty good save, so we will see how that goes. Over on the other side of the structure here, we have the Screamer Killer and both Von Ryan's Leapers that have jumped into hand-to-hand combat with our captain in Gravis Armour. The captain does have that ability to have damage, but there might just be way too much here to actually save, but we'll see. He does have the Invulnerable. He's got a good save, pretty high toughness, so it's all going to come down to this. If they do survive, they're going to be able to counterattack. So I'm going to go over to the dice tray, roll for the Tyranid. They have the initiative, and we will see if this is in fact the last stand of the Salamanders, or if they will fight on for one more turn. All right, over to the dice tray. All right, here we go, possibly the last turn for our Salamanders. This is the Tervagon versus the Aggressors. So the Tervagon is going to start off with its massive crushing claws, 4 attacks, hitting on a 4+. Terrible roll, that's awesome. So that's its strongest weapon at strength 12. It does have others, but at least that did not do anything. So this is going to be the massive scything talons for a strike. So this is 4 attacks as well. This time though, hitting on a 3+. 1 fell off. That's also not too bad. So this is a strength 9 attack versus toughness 6. So wounding on 3s. 1 more fell off. That's good. It is a -2, however, to AP, which brings our Aggressors up to a 5+ save. So let's see if they can make that save. Oh, that's not good. So they failed both. The damage from the massive scything talons is D6, so we're hoping for really low rolls here. So here we go. Oh no. So from that, 7 wounds have been delivered. The 2 Aggressor Marines do have 3 wounds apiece, so if one of those had rolled differently, they'd be okay, but this was enough to actually kill both of them, and then that just puts the nail in the coffin. So 7 wounds delivered to 6 wounds remaining, so the Aggressors have fallen to the Tervagon. Okay, those aggressors are gone. We're now moving over to the Captain in Gravis Armour, who is facing the Screamer Killer and 2 Von Ryan's Leapers. The Tyranid are going to start off with the Screamer Killer. It's trying to get revenge for the Captain killing that Parasite of Mortrex, which was their Warlord. So this is the Screamer Killer Talons with 10 attacks, wounding on 3 or hitting on 3+. Okay, few fell off. That's good. This is strength 10 versus toughness 6, so wounding on 3s. Wow, that's a good roll once again for the Tyranid. So that is 2, 4, 6, 7 attacks that have gone through, -2 AP, which brings our Captain in Gravis Armour up to the 4+ invulnerable. So let's see how we do here. Not good. So he saved 1. The damage is going to get halved, but I believe that's enough. So we have 1.5, 3, 4.5, and he's got 5 wounds left. So yeah, that's enough to take him out. So even if this was 1 wounded piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with that attack, the Captain in Gravis Armour has fallen to the Screamer Killer. Great last stand by the Salamanders. I'm going to go back to my other camera, show you the casualties that they did. Absolutely phenomenal. I think they might be #1 right now, but I'll show you guys on the other camera, and we'll close this one out. All right, so that is the end of the Last Stand series for the Salamanders. Definitely in first place, I believe, with these kills. So I'm just going to do the tally here for you guys, what they were able to finish off in that fight. So we got the Parasite of Mortrex, killed by the Gravis Captain. A Spore Mine that wasn't really killed, but it blew up and didn't do anything, so it was kind of, killed to try to push the Tyranid victory ahead. 2 sections of Ripper Swarms that were finished off almost immediately. The first time I think a force has taken out all 5 Barb Gaunts. I'll have to go back through the other videos to be sure, but they are all dead. A section of Von Ryan's Leapers, another lone Von Ryan's Leaper, and then 7 gargoyles at the back. So very, very good. No one has killed the Screamer Killer yet, but maybe that's going to happen in the future. But absolutely phenomenal round by the Salamanders. And as I said, throughout the entire battle, the Infernus Marines with their Pyroblasters, absolutely phenomenal against the Tyranid. So if you guys are playing against Tyranid, I would say definitely bring some Infernus Marines along. Next battle is going to be a bit of a change from our usual fight. So we've been fighting a lot of, allied Space Marines and Battle Sisters and Imperial Guard. We're going to switch it up completely and go with a different race. It's going to be the Orcs. And that is probably going to lead me back into my Cadian Crusade narrative, because they will be fighting the Orcs in their next battle. Yeah, it was Last Stand at Glazier's Creek. So this is going to be the last stand sort of at Oil Camp Omega, which is going to be a completely different battlefield looking than this, but we will get the Orcs here first. I'm going to change out a bit of the terrain to make it look a little bit more orky. The Nakamind walls are going to remain, but I'm going to change out the 2 bunker systems for something that's more orcish, which will be kind of fun. And they're going to be a bruising, high toughness, big attacks, hand-to-hand combat force. So we'll get to that when we get to that for the Last Stand Orcs. But for now, that is it for the Salamanders. And Last Stand, we'll get one more battle in before we switch back to my Cadian Crusade. And I will do more of these Last Stand battles because they're a lot of fun to do. Very easy to set up, quick to shoot and edit. But thank you guys again for watching. Fantastic job by the Salamanders. And we will see how those Orcs do next time. Thank you for tuning in. Finnigan 40K. Have a good one.